All right, welcome. Today we're going to tackle one of the trickiest parts in the SAT reading section and turn it into your new secret weapon. We are cracking the code on author tone and style.
So let's just dive right in. You know those questions about an author's attitude or style? A lot of students just kind of skim past them, and they end up leaving a whole bunch of easy points on the table. If that sounds like you, well, you're in the right place.
I want you to think of yourself as a detective for a little bit. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to look past just the words on the page. You're here to figure out what an author's real attitude is and the unique voice they're using to get their ideas across.
Exactly. That's the whole game. The SAT isn't just checking if you know what the author said, it's testing if you can pick up on how they're saying it. You know, the feeling underneath it all and the specific ways they're trying to persuade you. Okay, so to be a good detective, you need the right tools. For us, that means getting super clear on two key ideas that people mix up all the time: tone and style. They're definitely related, but trust me, they are not the same thing.
So here it is, the main difference you've got to get. Tone is the emotional flavor of the writing. It's the author's attitude, the vibe. Style, on the other hand, is the technique. It's how they're actually building their argument. Let's look a little closer at each one.
Tone is all about the feeling you get from the words. The easiest way to nail this down is to just ask yourself, is the author being positive, negative, or totally neutral here? A word like enthusiastic is obviously a positive tone, right? While something like critical points to a negative one.
Now, style is all about the how. How is the author actually making their point? Are they telling a story? Well, that's a narrative style. Or are they breaking down a bunch of facts and data? That's going to be analytical. It's the method, not the mood. See the difference? All right, you can't just guess on these questions and hope for the best. You need a system, a reliable method you can fall back on every single time. So let's walk through that three-step procedure right now.
Here is your game plan. It's a simple, three-step process. First, just read the passage to get a general sense of the mood and what it's trying to do. Second, you go on a hunt for clues. You're looking for strong words that give away the tone or sentence patterns that reveal the style. And finally, you use that evidence to confidently get rid of those tricky, wrong answers.
And speaking of tricky answers, the test makers absolutely love to set traps. But hey, once you know what they look like, they're actually pretty easy to spot and avoid. Let's go over the two biggest ones you'll see. Okay, first up is the too strong trap. You'll see an answer choice that says something like vehemently outraged. But if the passage is just kind of calmly critical, that answer is way too extreme. The SAT loves this. If the author's tone is, say, a 5 out of 10 on the intensity scale, don't you dare pick an answer that's a 10 out of 10. The other big trap is the wrong section trap. This one gets so many people. An author might be a little critical in one paragraph, sure, but the overall tone of the entire passage might be totally objective. So you have to double check if the question is asking about one little piece or the whole thing. Okay, you know the method and you know the traps to watch out for. Now for the secret sauce. This is the one thing that separates the good scores from the really great scores. It's a simple mental check that top scorers do without even thinking about it. Before they lock in their answer, they just pause. They take a step back from all the answer choices on the page, and they ask themselves one really powerful, clarifying question that cuts through all the noise.
And this is it. This is the magic question. What is the author trying to make me feel or understand? Bam! That's your check for tone.
And how are they doing it? That's your check for style. It forces you to connect the feeling to the actual technique being used. It's brilliant.
So why have we been going through all this detective work? Why does any of this matter? Well, because this isn't just some abstract English class skill. This translates directly into cold hard points on your final score.
Look at this. You can expect to see one or two of these questions on every single reading passage. Now, that might not sound like a lot at first, but it adds up really fast. Across 5 passages, we're talking about a potential 5 to 10 questions. That's huge!
And here's the best part. Once you really get this skill down, these questions basically become free points. They are one of the most direct and consistent ways to boost your reading score without having to memorize, a million vocabulary words.
So, to wrap everything up, here's your detective's code. First, scan the passage for emotional words. Those are your clues for tone. Second, scan for patterns in how it's written. Those are your clues for style. And most important of all, you have to trust the evidence in the passage, not just your gut feeling. So there you have it. You've got the tools, you've got the strategy. The only thing left to do is practice. So I'll leave you with a question. What's the one passage you're going to read this week to try out your new detective skills and start unlocking those points?